don't stop, make a drop face the ball. The ball shaking, your belly to my vibrating. The girls them beautiful. The girls them beautiful. The girls them beautiful. The girls them beautiful.
George.
As Hamley Enterprises Limited, located at the Police Academy Junction, is a shipping agency ready to handle your goods from China to Liberia. We handle all from our warehouses in China. No need to stress yourself. We take care of your goods, and you can pick them up from our offices at the Police Academy Junction. We also sell small products and can order grade of all sizes for you, and installations are guaranteed by our technicians. We also do professional t-shirt printing for all occasions. Contact us on telephone number 0880-340-117 or 0775-374-480 or our WhatsApp number 678-386-2499. As Hamley Enterprises Limited, your shipping agency, ready to serve you.
We all know the headache we go through sending money to our loved ones, friends, and family in Liberia. High fees, long lines in banks, the usual complaint of the system being down, such a waste of time and energy. That is why I was very happy when I learned that SendWave is now in Liberia. So now I can send money anytime from anywhere directly from my smartphone to the MTN Lone Star Cell mobile money account of a loved one, friend, or family within seconds for just a tiny fee. So download SendWave now to your phone from your Apple Store or Google Play Store. Add your details, and don't worry, they are very safe and secure. And start sending money today. Don't forget to insert the promo code COSTA to get free $5 credit added to your first transfer. SendWave is secure, super fast, and by far the most affordable way to send money to Liberia. I'm Henry P. Costa and a very happy customer. Thank you.
Good morning, folks. Buckeye?
Yeah, good morning, Cos.
Can you hear me loud and clear?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Oh, okay, that's good. But I was having trouble hearing. I don't know why George wasn't hearing me. But welcome.
Yeah, it's good to be here with you this morning.
Yeah, I had a little problem, so I took the equipment out. So I put it apart. And then I had to set up quickly, my man. So I wasn't too sure that I had done it the right way. But I just want to be sure you all can hear me, people watching and those of you listening via the various apps. Can you ask George to check and see whether the apps, whether we're clear on the various apps?
Yeah, he's doing that now.
All right, that's very good. Folks, can you hear Boakai loud and clear? Those of you watching live, can you hear Boakai loud and clear? I can hear him. I can hear Boakai loud and clear. So Boakai, tell me, what's the latest development in town?
Well, just been around Senator DeLon Yombly visit to bombing, Suno respond. Up to now, the president not back yet.
You know, the president was at his son's football game, right?
Yeah, up to now he's not back yet. That's also making the news. I don't know what really he's
Just
doing
keep
now.
talking about I want to go raise your volume from my speaker.
Okay, so up to now the president isn't back yet. We don't know what he's doing now in France because he went to Glasgow for a meeting and the meeting is over. And up to now he's not back yet. That's another thing that is making news in the country. So, but we see him, Biltwawe and Kalasco, they are taking photos from one place to another, not meeting with people, not meeting with officials of other government. That when you go as a leader and you interact to attract investors to come to your country, but our president is there taking photo with Paul Papa, taking photo with soccer stars. I don't know if they are the investor that he's attracting to the country. That's one thing. And Eddie Snow's Nyombri Kanga Lawrence and Abraham Darros Dillon. You know, Senator Darros Dillon and Senator Kanga Lawrence went to bombing on a campaign trail, went to uh, rally support for the CPP candidate in Bombing County. They made some statement there that didn't go down well with us, Erin Snow. So Erin Snow too came up with a long response to his Facebook post. And yeah, that's been making news also in the country. So that's just been the major talking points on all local.
We're not even going to waste our time about that, please. I would have loved had you not even mentioned it. We don't have time for nonsense, stupid talk. You know, we don't care about that. I'm sorry. We have more important things to do than waste our time with back and forth between people. But let's talk about George Weah in Paris. So I have a video of the president in Paris, Boga, as you said. His son was not even playing that game. Did you see him? Did you see the pictures of him at the stadium?
No, I only saw the photo where he Paul Pogba and
I actually have a video from Canal Plus.
Oh, okay.
Canal Plus is a TV network, and Weah, his wife, and members of his delegation, they are in the stadium. And by the way, his son did not even play that game that I went to watch. He was on the bench. The president of the republic is in France, wasting our money, meeting with football players, watching his son play football with a very large delegation, as Boakai said, with no benefits whatsoever to the country. And the man is just a useless man. It's just very sad. You know, we haven't seen him meeting any serious person. We saw people, other world leaders, meeting with other world leaders, their counterparts, after the conference. But there was George Weah in Paris to watch his son play football. While we have people getting murdered in their homes back in Liberia, our president is abroad watching his son sit on the damn bench. I was sending you the video, and they showed him in the crowd with his wife watching the football game. The man is not serious, Wakai. The man is not serious at all. Not serious. Now, this morning, folks, we will have Mr. Madison Tukpa will join us from Nairobi, Kenya. Mr. Madison Tukpa will join us via video from Nairobi, Kenya. And the reason Mr. Madison Tukpa will join us is because a few days ago, and by the way, some Facebook talk show host accused Madison Tukpa of being the one who murdered Mr. or Reverend William R. Talbot. And this Facebook talk show host, according to what I heard, because I didn't listen to it, said that Madison Togba was the one who physically went into Mr. Torba's home and murdered him in cold blood. Even though, according to what I was told, the Facebook talk show host did not provide any evidence whatsoever, but he said it very, very definitively. So Madison Togba reached out to me and said, Mr. Costa, I am out of the country. I have been out of the country for 2 months now. I am in Nairobi, Kenya. And I can send you some documents. I will share with Bwakai right now what Mr. Madison Togba shared with me. And we can publish them as well. So he wants to say that he was out of the country. They say when you're in court, the burden of proof rests on the shoulders of the accuser.
Yeah.
But when you're in the court of public opinion, sometimes the accused person, who in this case is Madison Togba, has to be the one to come forward and say, hey, this person has accused me, but here I am, I'm innocent. So these are the facts. Now, Bwakai, I just sent you some documents, including his air tickets, a photo of the inside of his passport, his boarding passes, and all those different things. You will see them. And then including a picture of him and his son and his son's friends in Nairobi, Kenya. But he himself will be on the show later on this morning with us, Mr. Madison Togba. Now, but we have tons of other things we're going to be talking about this morning. So on Sunday, Bwakai, I'm sure you watched the town hall event of former Vice President Joseph Yuma Bwakai in Philadelphia. What did you make of that from the pictures that you saw of the event on Sunday?
Well, it was well attended, and on the issue about if the town hall event was crowded, there was no statement from both others within the CPP that normally criticize JMB moves from one place to another, and even the CDC, the children in CDC, the youth or whatsoever, those that normally say, oh, they meant sleepy, they meant this, they meant that. They were shocked because the turnout was massive. People went there to listen to what the former vice president have to say to them. Some were convinced. Some of the folks within the CPP that have stayed haven't made the decision on who to support yet. They were convinced by the message. They took some good things from his message, and it was well attended. So that's it. That's just one of the things that people were anticipating, if it would be crowded or not. But the turnout was massive. The turnout was massive. I saw videos, I saw photos, and there haven't been no discussion about if it was massive or not. Because if it was not massive, but now it's making headlines on social media and other news outlets. But there is no news entity in Liberia here that ever said that, the president first, Mr. the former vice president first town hall meeting was empty, it was this or that. It was well attended by the people.
All right. Thank you very much, Bwakai. Yes, the town hall event, as you said, town hall meeting was, there were several things about it, Bwakai. Let's talk about the attendance first. You've already covered that. It was very widely, it was very packed. Lots of people were there. It was very crowded. Nothing compared to anything we've seen in recent time. There were people there from all over the United States, people from Iowa, people from Minnesota, people from Virginia, people from Massachusetts, people from New Jersey, people from Maryland, people from all over America were there. And I met many of our fans, of our supporters for the first time. There was this lady who came, I don't know where she came from, but I believe her name name is Sistina or Florence or something. And she had printed T-shirts. I have those T-shirts in my car. I will try to send you some. She printed these high-quality T-shirts she had made since 2 years ago for me. And LIB Hero with my picture on it in 2 different colors, orange and green. And this lady had kept those T-shirts for years. I mean, since 2019, when I returned from the United States, from Liberia, from the June 7 protest. She was there as well and presented these T-shirts to me. And it was just very humbling, Bwakai. If you didn't know how much people appreciate the work we do, Bwakai, appreciate it. I mean, it was incredible, Bwakai. It was incredible. There were people there from all over the place who are going to see us, who are going to just say thank you for the work that we do, Bwakai. People really, really do appreciate the work we do. I mean, this is not strange to me. I see this all the time, but it was incredible. I think I might have taken about 300 pictures with people. It was just overwhelming. This is not new to me, but it just reminds me, Bwakai, every single time of how much people appreciate the work we do, Bwakai. They really, really appreciate what we do on this show. It's just amazing. Amazing, amazing, amazing. So forget the size of the crowd. It was the biggest. I mean, come on. No one can tell the last time there was any crowd, any town hall event with that size, that number of people attending, right?
Sure.
But there's another thing. The perceptions and the innuendos that the critics have about Joe Bwakai. And that Bwakai is a frail old man. He can't even walk. He can't even talk. But what they saw, Bwakai, they saw a strong Joe Bwakai who was in the open with hundreds of people in a very large hall and many thousands and thousands of people watching live on social media. They saw him standing up for over 2 hours. For over 2 hours, Joe Bwakai responded to their questions in a very, very calm, effective way. They saw a Joe Bwakai who understands the issues, a Joe Bwakai who didn't have to read from paper, a Joe Bwakai who was sharp and witty and giving very quick responses, brilliant responses. They saw all of that. They saw that. And so it was incredible. People were like, But when I thought they said the man can be sleeping, or the man so old, he's so tired, he can't even. They saw all of the contrary. They saw everything that pointed to the contrary. All the rumors and the innuendos perpetrated by the detractors, they saw otherwise, you know. And then there were people. There were people there who, when it came the time for the Q&A, the question and answer section, the question and answer, the Q&A session, they got up and their only point was to lodge my complaint, to tell Joe Bwakai that Henry Costa is battering Mr. Cummings, and we want you to talk to Costa to stop. Well, what they don't realize is I keep telling them, I do not work for Mr. Bwakai. I support Mr. Bwakai for president. But Mr. Bwakai does not tell me how to run my show. The same way I don't tell Mr. Bwakai how to run his political party. You understand? So, and they thought they could tell Joe Bwakai, oh yeah, Costa is a bad person. I mean, can you imagine literally people who come there to kind of lodge my complaint? To stand up there in the line when the time came to ask their question. All they had to say was, can you tell Costa to stop cussing Mr. Cummings and making her feel bad? I'm like, what the hell is wrong with these people? You came all the way here to tell Joe Bwakai to tell me to stop talking to Cummings? That's it? You know, but I like his answers, what he told them. I keep telling them I don't work for anybody. I work for the Liberian people. I work for the Liberian people. I don't work for Joe Bwakai. I don't work for Benin Uri. I don't work for any political party. I support them, but I don't work for them. So you are mistaken to think that you can come and lodge my complaint to somebody and the person will what will it do, Bwakai? They will not pay our rent next month? Or they will not pay our staff?
That's no, but Costa, we appreciate attending the program now. They were there at least.
But the point is, this is a question and answer. They were there to ask questions of Joe Biden, why he wants to be president, what his plans are. I mean, these are the two people, two ANC people. I'm not talking about the rest of the people. The rest of the people asked wonderful questions. They were on point. They asked great questions. I mean, lots of great questions. I'm telling you, it was great. The people were very, very serious. But then, out of all the serious people who asked tons of serious questions, two Sanama swines got up and they said, Mr. Bogai, can you please tell Costa to start talking bad to Mr. Cummings? Please. So Bogai, the thing ahead and that's all.
They can hear though, you know.
Yeah. So then why they can be causing so? All they are causing Joe Bogai is Sanama swine. Just two Sanama swines. Just two of them. Yeah. Now the rest of the people, they ask great questions. I mean, Bogai, somebody running for president, they're having a town hall event. It's a packed hall, and people, thousands are watching it all over the world. You get an opportunity to ask the main question. Ask the question. You understand? Ask the question and ask him about what he intends to do if and when he becomes president. But all you do, you stand there, you go ask him about it, you tell him about it. You start lodging Costa complaint, oh yeah, please talk to you son, let you son leave comments. All right, anyway, folks, so it was fantastic. Now, very beautiful program. Very, very beautiful program it was. Very, very beautiful program it was. And then I just want to let you know is that so Joe Bogai is going to Minnesota. He is going to Minnesota. He will be in Minnesota. He's going to Minnesota this Friday. I will not be there. I'm actually traveling to Dallas, Texas this weekend. So we are launching the COP Dallas chapter. And so I'm leading a delegation of 8 persons to Texas to launch the COP Dallas chapter. So I will not be in Minnesota with him, but he's going with a high-powered delegation. And of course, his folks are there. People in Minnesota want to see him. Also, the city of Brooklyn Park. The city of Brooklyn Park is involved. They were officially informed, and they're very excited, and they're helping. There are plenty a number of events. So Joe Bogai will be in Minnesota this weekend from Friday, the 12th of November to Sunday, the 14th of November. Then on Sunday, he flies out of Minnesota and goes to Phoenix, Arizona. In Arizona, former Vice President Joe Bogai, let me read the itinerary for you all folks. I have it here, the itinerary. He goes to Phoenix, Arizona. He has some very good friends there, very, very good friends. And in Phoenix, Arizona, he will arrive in Phoenix very early in the morning at 10 a.m. In Phoenix, Arizona. And he's going to have a State Senator Leah Landrum Taylor. She's a senator. You can look her up. Her first name is spelled Leah. You will see all these pictures and stuff. I'm supposed to be there in Phoenix with him. It looks like I might have to fly from Dallas to Phoenix directly, as opposed to coming back, but we'll see. So he arrives in Phoenix, Arizona on Sunday morning at 10 a.m. He's going to be in Phoenix. He and a delegation. After they leave Minnesota, they fly to Phoenix. And then this state senator, Senator Leah Landrum Taylor, is going to be hosting a reception event in his honor, where they have all these American people, all these wonderful friends of Joe Bogai will be present there at the reception the senator is hosting for Joe Bogai. That's on Sunday, the evening of Sunday. They're going to be hosting a reception by a state senator. She said she herself is going to be cooking for Joe Boakai. Then on Monday, November 15th at 10 a.m., Joe Boakai will have a meeting with the Arizona House Speaker, the Speaker of the House, of the House of Representatives of the state of Arizona, Honorable Russell Bowles. Joe Boakai will have a meeting with him. He's the Speaker of the House of Representatives or the State Assembly. Joe Boakai will have a meeting with him on Monday morning at 10 a.m. with Honorable Speaker Russell W. Bowles. At 11:30 on Monday, November 15th, Joe Boakai will have a meeting with Dr. Stephen Gonzalez. He is a chancellor of the Maricopa County, the Maricopa Community Colleges. He's going to have a meeting with him at 11:30 Monday, November 15th. Then, of course, there will be other events, which will include on Tuesday and Wednesday, meeting with Arizona Black Nurses Association. The Black Nurses Association of Arizona is going to meet with them. Then, of course, on Thursday the 18th, from 10:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m., he's going to have a meeting with Project Kyo. Project Kyo is the world's largest medical, non-profit organization in the medical equipment business. They donate medical equipment to countries all over the world. And Project Kyo, they ship just about 244 containers every year of medical equipment, worth tens of millions of dollars. And these are the people who are giving Joe Boakai 4 40-foot containers loaded with medical equipment meant for Liberia, for the Joseph Human Boakai Foundation. So he's going to meet with them on Wednesday, November 17th. And of course, I'm supposed to be there with them. Well, no, this is on Thursday, November the 18th. Of course, I said on Wednesday, November 17th, he will meet with the Arizona Black Nurses Association. Then on Friday, the day he flies out of Arizona back to the East Coast, he will meet with the University of Arizona Medical School and other appointments as well. This is the itinerary, and so far, this is we will put more stuff there. It's going to be loaded. He said Joe Boakai keeps telling us he wants to make the most of his time in the United States. So he's doing meetings, and the trip down to Arizona is extremely important. These medical equipment that will be shipped to Liberia, 4 containers. He will personally participate in the loading. Boakai will take pictures and videos. You will see Joe Boakai helping to load some of these containers. And these 4 containers will be loaded with medical supplies to the tune of hundreds of thousands of United States dollars. Boakai.
Wow.
All meant to be shipped to Liberia and to be distributed. He has great friends in Arizona. The last time he was there, 2 years ago, he signed 19 Memorandum of Understanding Agreements, 19 MOUs he signed with different organizations, all of them committed to support or committed to supporting a number of efforts in healthcare, in education, in this and in that. So it was all just fantastic. And he's asked me to join him on this trip, and I will try my best to be on that particular trip, on that delegation to Arizona, even though I will be in Dallas, Texas from Friday to Monday from Friday of this week, which is on the 12th, to Monday of next week. But I will try to see when I can fly from Dallas straight down to Arizona. Now, so basically, and there's a friend of his down in Arizona who has donated towards the shipment of these containers, Boakai, 21,000 United States dollars. Now we need to raise the balance of the money needed to what? To ship all of those equipment. You remember the last time, Boakai, we helped raise some money here on the Costa Show for the folks down from Colorado to ship those equipment, medical equipment?
Yeah, we did.
Yep. And I was just told that the equipment, the container, I think one or two of them, I think they shipped one or two, they have arrived.
All right.
Yes. So that's very good. We were involved with fundraising. We raised many thousands of dollars. I think on this show, we were able to raise up, I think it was $12,500 that came from right here. $12,500 that we raised here. So the equipment, former Vice President Boakai is shipping to Liberia, will be donated. They are not for sale. These are hundreds of thousands of equipment, medical equipment, badly needed ones. Thanks to his friends at Project Q. Project Q is run by Dr. Douglas Jackson. Project Q is the world's largest donor of medical equipment. They ship out to the world to about 135 countries, over 200 containers, 244 containers of medical equipment every single year. And they send hundreds and hundreds of trained medical personnel around the world to volunteer, to treat people, to help train and treat and do all kinds of amazing stuff. So that's what so if you are in Minnesota and you want to see Joe Boakai, he's coming there on Friday. I will not be there, but he will be there with the team. And we'll put out the flyer. We're going to do a flyer today and put it out there so you have the information. It's going to be a town hall event as well. They're trying to keep it within the city limits. They want to keep it close. The people, the Liberians in Minnesota, they don't like to drive long distances, Boakai. They all live very close to each other. If you live 30 minutes away from that, they're gonna complain. I know people like my friend Steve Bondo drove all the way from Virginia to come to the town hall event here in Philadelphia. That's many hours. I know people who drove from very far and near. People drove from Massachusetts, 5-6 hours away to come all the way here. But the people in Minnesota, if you are 30 minutes away, they're gonna tell you it's too far. If you are 20 minutes away, they're gonna tell you it's too far. So the folks there I spoke to them last night. They made sure they got the hall, they got the place right there in Brooklyn Park, so that our people will have close, easy access to the hall where the town hall event will be. We will give you the information, and we're gonna put in the flyer. We're gonna Tom, you're laughing. That's exactly what you people do. You Minnesotans, you don't like driving long distances. We drive long distances. We drive 2 hours to go to a party. Okay.
Yeah.
If you really can you imagine driving 2 hours to go to a party? We drive from here to from Monrovia to Bon County to go for a party.
Just go enjoy yourself.
My man, we drive from Monrovia to Ganta to go for a party or to go for an event. From Monrovia to Ganta. Yes, that's what we do. But our people in Minnesota, if you told them that you are having a party right there at Roberts Field, they're not gonna come. They're gonna be like, it's too far. It is too far. Oh, we're not gonna come. Well, that's how, because they're so close together. They're so close together. Yeah, but they're gonna be there to see Joe Boakai, because the event will be very close to them, and we made sure we're keeping it right close to them. So my man Tom Will, and all the other wonderful folks there will not have any reason to complain that the place is too far. Now, we're told that Pazawi lost his father. Are you aware of this? I haven't called him. I've been so busy. I will tell Joe Boakai this today so he can call his man, Gabriel Monga Zawiye. Pazawi, our deepest condolences to you for your losing your father. Now, Pazawi is an elderly man that he just lost his father. Now, Pazawi, I envy you.
Wow.
My sympathy, my condolences. And your father must have lived a long life. But again, no matter how long our parents live, when they pass away, we still miss them. So Pazawi, we said Namaya. We pray that God will strengthen you and console you. And okay, my man Janje Peter said he's going to go to the town hall event. He's going to go from Fargo, North Dakota. Thank you, Janje. It's going to be there. We will give you the address. Want you all to go there. All of you Henry Costa people, all of you COP people. I trust you. You know, Baga, every time we go for an event in Minnesota, it's crowded. It's crowded. I don't want to make any comparison with anybody, but I know that we draw way more crowd than all the other Nyama people who say they're running for president. I mean, we draw more crowd than them. Everywhere we go, we draw crowd. People love us. Huh?
Because this news was, on yesterday, the former vice president spoke to VOA. You know of that, right?
Mama, how you ask me? I set up the interview with the VOA.
Okay, and he made a statement there that all of news outlets are carrying, because he said, opposition, the chairman of the, he's heading the opposition now, the CPP. According to him, when he returned to Liberia, he's going to reach out to Mr. Alexander Cumming to see how they can come up and work together. And all of what happened over the weekend, the front page and all of news institution didn't carry it, but this particular one made headlines in all of news outlet. Is it because it is attached to Mr. Cummings or what? I just don't know. But they say Mr. Boakai reached out. He said when he returned to Liberia, he will reach out to Mr. Alexander Cummings to see how they can work together in resolving the internal conflict within the CPP. And that's been one of the major news in Liberia here.
Well, I was sitting right there when the interview was held. I arranged the interview the same way I arranged the BBC interview he's having on Thursday. On Thursday at 9 a.m. GMT, 9 a.m. Eastern Time, which should be 1 p.m. GMT. The former Vice President Joseph Yuma Boakai will have an interview with Hassan Aroni of the BBC for Focus on Africa. And that interview should be run on the 3 p.m. BBC Focus on Africa news cycle, and it should also be run on the 5 p.m. news cycle. So I will be sitting right there, and he's going to do the interview. Yes, so I did hear what he said about that. Former Vice President Joe Boakai has not been the source of the problem in the CPP. He has not been the one, saying nasty things about Alex Cummings. It is Cummings who, on the other hand, who accuses and labels Joe Boakai of being part of the bad, corrupt system. He is the one who says all the negative things. So it is not Joe Boakai. And you and I both know that is not the case. And so Joe Boakai has always been committed. He is a statesman. He's not a troublemaker. He's always been committed to working with Alex Cummings and everybody else to make the CPP work. But that doesn't mean that Joe Boakai is naive to think that you can work with people who do not want to be worked with, or you can reason with people who do not wish to be reasoned with. And so he understands that, and he understands that very, very well. But yes, indeed, he did say that he hopes that we can salvage this problem in the CPP. But whether it is a salvageable problem is another thing. And so, he did say that. But we're going to move on to other things here, Boakai. We're going to move on to other things here. So over the weekend, I saw Miguel, Nathaniel Fallow Miguel, on one of his visits to Bon County. Miguel is not from Bon County, just so you all know, folks. Miguel is from Bella District in Bapulu. Miguel goes to Bon County and presents himself as though he's a son of Bon County. I don't know what he hopes to accomplish or what he thinks he can accomplish by visiting Bon County all the time and doing these little white elephant projects and stuff like that. He thinks the Bon County people will accept him as one of their own. He's making a mistake. But here's what I saw. So this weekend, I saw McGill walking with his stooges and sycophants behind him, including, what's the name? Representative Melvin something. What's that joker's name?
Melvin Cole.
Marvin Cole. Marvin Cole. So I saw him walk with Marvin Cole. And Marvin Cole was there like McGill's errand boy, and they were touring McGill's 300 or 200 acre cocoa nursery. McGill has a 200 acre cocoa nursery. And I'm looking at Marvin Cole and I'm saying, McGill, this son of a swine, McGill, who only recently could not pay his rent, that I used to help him pay his rent. Only recently, McGill, who couldn't buy his plane ticket to come to America when he was in opposition. And I remember 2016, he would have to come to the CDC convention. He couldn't buy his plane ticket, and we had to help him buy a plane ticket. So this is a McGill now who has a 200-acre farm. What?
Yeah.
And what's wrong with you guys? Like, do they not catch themselves and say, look, this is just too much. I'm just showing off too much. This is Nathaniel McGill, who recently could not afford to buy his plane ticket to come to America. McGill, who used to live in a swamp with the frogs for years, in a little house there, in the curb, in the curb, right there.
Boulevard. Yeah.
This is a McGill who has a 200-acre cocoa farm. Jesus Christ. And I'm saying to myself, how the hell do these Salama swines expect to go free? These buggers must be crazy. We're going to seize all the damn farms. We're going to convert them to public ownership, all the properties that they acquired using the proceeds and stolen money. We're going to seize them. But it's just sickening, Wagai, to see these buggers showing off their ill-gotten wealth in the face of abject poverty. Who the hell McGill thinks he is? That he go to a power home in Bel Air district, that Bon County, he's going to go and act like he's a McGill. You're not from Bon County. I know they're trying to honor Joe Howard Taylor because McGill going to. That's the whole strategy.
That's the main reason.
That's the main reason why they're doing all these things in Bon County.
But in 2023, they may likely get rid of her. So to make it look like, oh yes, we have the people, we are working with our people. So McGill is constantly visiting, bombing, pledging, making some commitment. Yeah. A lot of times you are in Bon County a few months ago, and this time again he's there. He just been there.
What does he hope to accomplish? Does he think that when he goes to Bon County, and the other day the man was standing in a freaking open top Jeep, Wrangler, this open top Wrangler.
Yeah.
And they're driving him around in Bon County, in Banga, and he's feeling himself. The bugger, the Salma swine is feeling himself. He's forgotten that only recently the frogs were his neighbors, and now he thinks he's on top of the world, inspecting a 200-acre cocoa farm. And he was a so brave bugger that these buggers would go and they would show this thing off for everybody to see.
Mm-hmm.
They would show it off for everybody to see that they've got money, and they're this and they're that. And they printed T-shirts of the Sanama swine, with a picture on a T-shirt. McGill, you're not a Pele man or you don't belong to any tribe from Bon County, because it's not Bon County does not only belong to Pele people, or predominantly Pele people. There are Mandingo people from Bon County, but you're not from Bon County. You're from Bayapolu. And they think that, look, let me tell you something. I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm a big fan of Joel Howard Taylor, but I'll tell you this. Say what you may about Joel Howard Taylor, she's strong in Bon County. She's proven it in several elections. And you all think that you can disrespect her as vice president, undercut her as vice president, and then this idiot, this dim-witted idiot, McGill, can go to Bon County and can go and be drooling about, chewing his damn tongue. Have you seen McGill up close? Do you know McGill chews his tongue? This guy will be in a meeting with even the president of the United States and will be chewing his tongue. And he eating cola. This idiot. Yes, McGill chews his tongue. He literally does that. And you see McGill there, passing around in Bon County. Then he likes to do another thing that he likes to do. He likes to rub his belly, and his belly has gotten really, really big. Nope. And you see McGill is rubbing his belly, and he's chewing his tongue, and then he's speaking or spewing rubbish from that dim-witted mouth of his. And he's there in Bunker acting like the president. What that he really is. McGill is the president. George, we are just a dummy head.
Yep, he's the president.
George, we are just a dummy, the figurehead. McGill is the president. The brand. No, McGill is the brand. He said, what's that? What's that, my man? My man goes out. So McGill does that. So we're damn time like he eating cola nuts. And then rubbing out pot belly. And then you see Marvin Cole, his little errand boy, showing him around and saying, look at yellow chief from here. But what was the point of Marvin Cole, who was elected by the people of that district in Bond County, walking around when they said, no boy, down on the real boy, the real stupid man. All of a sudden, Marvin Cole has become McGill's little errand boy, and he's the one, the tour guide. McGill, you know why he got his own damn farm? He got to get Marvin Cole to be telling the people that the minister farm here. The minister got 200-acre cocoa farm, and the minister doing that. The minister doing that one. The people don't know the minister doing things here. I'm like, what the hell? What the hell? And by the way, you know they campaigning now. They think they can win that district number 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
The seat that they got occupied, Prince Moi. That's the seat these Cinnamon Swines are trying to win, but they're not going to win that. They're not going to win that seat. They're not going to win that seat at all. But you know, Buckeye, I'll say something else here. These guys think that they will win 2023. I don't know what they base it on, because I can't find any reason why they would think that way. I think they're just delusional beyond redemption. Delusional beyond redemption. The guys are just stupid, period. This Cinnamon Swine sat down in Monrovia. We had the largest peaceful protest the country had ever seen, June 7th. Humiliated them all over the world. The biggest press coverage, international media press coverage. Then we had the election, the special election, the by-election, I'm sorry. A month later, after June 7th, that brought Dillon to power. We whooped them like market dogs. They were whimpering and whimpering about like a little injured puppy. And 1 year later in 2020, we went to special elections across the 15 counties. Again, we whooped them like market dogs. And these buggers have not changed. Why? They are still arrogant. They still have their heads buried between their damn legs and buried, not even in the sand. They take their heads to bury it in their behinds. They haven't changed. I don't know what we're gonna do to these buggers that's gonna make them change. I don't know. What do they base this absolute delusion on that they're going to win another election? Every single place we are when they raise somebody's hand, we beat them. Beat them like a market dog. In fact, worse than a market dog, because they can beat the market dog will live. We beat them like a market snake. You don't want to see the snake in the market, how they can beat that bugger? That's how we beat these Cinnamon Swines. And yet they think somehow that they're going to come back from that and win us in 2023.
Yeah, but what they are doing now, cause is also probably giving any hope, reaching out to the people, like you said. McGill went to Bon County,
and taking money out.
Scholarship scheme that the government will be committed. Once President Weah is president, we'll continue on this particular educational scholarship for our people. You know, they are reaching out, they are making moves, but then the opposition is up to now stay in-house fighting, not reaching out to the people. Now you know this is campaign time, Costa. This is campaign time for candidates with on the both sides.
I agree. They are reaching out.
Yeah.
But guess what? They are reaching out and addition our money. But didn't we see that happen with Thomas Fala?
Yeah, we did. But this just try to understand that Masurado is totally different from other counties. Masurado is totally different from other counties. Masurado can be carried away by finance. But other counties, they can be play on financially than any other than Monserrato. You should know that.
Okay. So you mean they're gonna be giving the people money until 2023, right?
It's not like going to be giving people, most especially during the time of election, like today or tomorrow is election time. We are going for the general election. They will start to dish out money, Costa. You know the guys, they are capable of doing anything just to get power. You know them.
Well, guys, they're not gonna win.
We
You
hope
know
so.
why they will not win?
No.
The economy, the hardship in the country. You live there. You know it better than I do. I know what I go through every day, helping people, sending money left and right. But you live you are on the ground. The hardship in our country. The people of Liberia will vote against these people because of the hardship. They will vote against them because of these murders all over the place. They will vote against them. You know why they lost the election so badly in 2020? 2020 was when? Was it 5 years ago? It was only last year.
Last year.
You know what? You think they lost because of Joe Biden or because of Costa? We know we did a lot of work educating the people, enlightening the people. But the number one teacher is the hardship, Biden. All over the world. No matter how popular you think you were when you came to power, when the economy is bad, when people are suffering, you do not win an election. The hardship, the murders of innocent people, that is how they will lose the elections. Watch and see.
Because for we are coming, we have an election. I think this month, right? This month, those that lost the various seats,
the by-elections.
The by-election, and this coming by-election, we will know what are the people have settled to go the CDC way or not. Because what I'm saying is that if this particular internal wrangling continue, Costa, you are not on the ground. I know what's going on here. Because what I hear on the street is totally different from what you and I say here. The people are getting so exhausted with this particular internal wrangling that is going on within the CPP. Every day, there's other problem. Every day, they were already settled down for the ticket between Alexander Cummings and Joe Biden. It was a clear-cut win for the CPP. But this particular internal wrangling have now divided the entire CPP. You go here, you hear the other people and talking this. You go on this side, you hear the other people talking this. And it's not good for the CPP. It's going to bring in total division.
I did not say it was good for the CPP. That is why I believe the CPP needs to split up. It is not working. When you're in a marriage or in a relationship that is not working, that is not fruitful, it's not healthy, what do? You remove yourself from that relationship because that relationship has become toxic. The CPP will not work. The reason it will not work is simple. Walker and Cummings want to be president. Walker expects Cummings to support him, or expected. Cummings expects Walker to retire and support him. It is not going to work. I'm sorry. We've lost power debt with Walker and them. Hold on. They're going to switch to power source number 2 shortly. Just stay put. In a few minutes, we will have Mr. Madison Tukba join us. Let me see when that is exactly. Okay, that will be in 9 minutes. Mr. Madison Tukba will join us. So just stay put. We're going to take Walker shortly. We're going to go to the phone lines and take some calls. Just a few calls before we take Mr. Madison Tukba. And the time has changed, of course, daylight saving time, which means I now have to wake up at 2 a.m. At 2 a.m. as opposed to 3 a.m. Okay. Yep. So let's see whether you guys will come back. We lost power. They are switching from Power Source 1 to Power Source 2. That's Liberia for you. It's a sad, sad thing that in 12 years, under Ellen, we don't have stable electricity, no running water. Education system is a mess. Healthcare system is a mess. I don't know what the legacy is. I don't know. But there you have it. In a small country like Liberia, small city like Monrovia, you don't even have electricity that is stable. It is just sad. So we're going to wait for my guys to connect to power source number 2. Oh, look at the kind of nonsense they're telling me now. They can't come on because oh my God. This is just, oh my God. Folks, just hold on, folks. Let me try to call them. I'm going to mute myself here. Let me talk to them. Folks, I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. I apologize for my people. So we lost power and they tried to connect. They tried to put the generator on and the generator would not come on because one of the guys pulled the generator. Oh, the guy answered it. It has a key starter and it has a rope that you can pull and start. So they say the alternator is not working to start to charge the battery for them to use the key starter. So they got to manually pull the rope. They didn't tell me the alternator ain't working. He's just telling me right now that the alternator is not working. Therefore, the battery cannot be charged, the generator battery, unless the machine is running. He didn't tell me that. And I just bought a brand new battery about 2 weeks ago. He did not tell me about the alternator. So now they got to manually start it. I can buy a brand new battery, but he couldn't tell me, oh, Chief, the alternator not working. Can we fix it? Damn it, you guys. Jesus. So now, They can't get the generator started because the generator rope cut when they got pulled it. Probably pulled it the wrong way, which can happen. I mean, I've tried to start a generator before and pull the rope and the cut. But if the battery was charged, they would just use the key starter, and it would start it. But for them to tell me that the alternator, which charges the battery, is not working, they didn't tell me that. But they would tell me to buy a brand new battery. Yeah, imagine that. What brilliant people I have working for me. Very brilliant people. Yell at them, oh, the boss man not talk to other people. Absolute nonsense. So we can't reconnect with them because they can't get the generator started. Because they're so smart that they could not, oh my God. Don't tell me let it be, Ephraim. How your Liberian people behave. I don't behave like y'all. I'm a different type of Liberian. When people do nonsense, I put them right on this spot. I just bought battery 2 weeks ago. So we bought a brand new generator battery, but you could not tell me the alternator that is supposed to charge the battery, it's not working. I got money buying it. Just say, Chief, the alternator is not charging you. Can we buy a new one? If I don't buy it, it's on me. You're always supposed to be ready. You're always supposed to have your contingencies in place. Now, we're discussing something very important. We're out of power, and we can't get our generator on. All right, so I don't know what I'm going to do. Apparently, I'm going to take Mr. Madison Tukba, and then now the people who are listening via the other, they're not going to be able to hear us. Let me have Mr. Madison Tukba join us now. I want to talk to him, and then we will close this thing up. It's just too annoying working with Liberian people. The level of incompetence is just nauseating. Yeah, you want to join us now? Just join me now, please. Okay, bye. Okay, so I'm going to remove them from the studio. I'm going to remove them from the studio right now. And then Mr. Madison Chuba will join me shortly so that we can talk to him on this matter. Then we'll close up. Bazawi, I will reach out to you this morning when day breaks, of course. And I will talk to you. I'm very sorry for your loss. What time is it in Liberia now? What time is it in Liberia? It should be what, 8:30? It should be 8:30 Liberian time, right? It's 3:30 here. So daylight saving time began on Sunday. Yep. 8:30. That's correct. 8:30. Sometimes the simple things you don't do can embarrass you. All right. Mr. Madison Tukba, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Henry Costa. How are you?
I'm doing well, sir. It's very good to have you. I apologize. My guys in Liberia, I just lost them because of power issue, but we have you here. Lots of people are watching, hundreds and hundreds of people, and of course on YouTube as well. And we're going to post this thing later on. Yeah. So a few days ago, we heard a certain gentleman on Facebook make some very outlandish allegations against you. He accused you of being the one who personally, physically murdered the late Reverend William Richard Tolbert, who was gruesomely murdered in his Mesorado compound apartment about 2 Sundays ago. Now, when he called in, I didn't listen to it myself, but I heard people say it. And then friends of yours reached out to me, not you directly, friends of yours, some of whom are friends of mine. And they said, look, we heard this guy say these things about Madison Tupac. And we reached out to him, and we felt the need for him to speak publicly to this thing. They felt the need that you speak. And I said, sure. The platform is his. And besides, I wouldn't want an innocent man to be glibly accused in this manner without any evidence or any iota of truth. Your friends told me that you've been out of the country for 2 months. 2 months.
Sure.
And I said, well, can Mr. Madison Tupac prove that he's been out of the country for 2 months? Because when people travel, there are lots of ways you can prove it. The stamp in your passport, your tags on your suitcase or your bags, your plane ticket, the immigration stamp in the country where you arrived, the date you arrived, and a number of things. And then a call was fixed, and you and I spoke, and you provided me all those documents to prove when you left the country and that you're still out of the country. Here you are in a foreign country. So I'm going to ask you, Mr. Madison Tupac, where are you exactly right now, where you're joining me from?
Right now, I'm in Nairobi, Kenya.
Beautiful. Thank you. And Madison Tupac is a very popular man. Those who know him personally, they call him Mad Dog. He's a trained military professional. Madison, I will tell you this before we go any further. When we were planning the June 7th protest, people were telling us all kinds of things about you. In fact, some people told me that the government of Liberia had hired you, a private citizen. They had hired you to go to Israel to train an elite death squad and to purchase a cache of weapons and ammunition. They told me that personally as one of the persons who were organizing the protest. And they wanted me to say this publicly, but the reason I didn't say it because they didn't give me any proof. And they said the reason they had hired you was to try to clamp down on the protest and do the. So it's not, why do people always associate your name with things that I like that? Why? Why do you think that's the case, Madison?
Well, I guess it has something to do with my training, a background.
Let's talk about that a little bit, Madison. Before we go to that innuendo, let's talk about that. Your training. Tell us about your professional background.
Well, I actually joined the AFL in 1985 before the Kuangba incident. And I qualified as the applicant to go to the United States Military Academy in furtherance of my military agenda.
At West Point, the prestigious, famous West Point Academy.
United States Military Academy. And I was privileged to be the first Liberian to attend the prestigious military academy known as the world's #1 military academy. While there, I pursued an academic program in engineering, civil engineering and management. And on the military side, because I was there, I didn't have anything else to do. So I volunteer for all kinds of training. I'm airborne qualified, which means I'm a paratrooper.
You can jump out of an airplane.
A fully functional airplane. So I'm airborne qualified. I also got qualified what they call air assault helicopter operation, fast roping on a helicopter. I got trained by the sappers. The sappers are military engineers that go ahead of the infantry to clear mines, the special operation group. We were the first group of West Pointers that attended the sapper school. We did training, armor cavalry training for the U.S. military. I also worked as a drill sergeant in Fort Dix, New Jersey, to train new military recruits into the Army. And one of the people I trained at that time was Michael Watterson, a Liberian American who entered the U.S. military. So all the extensive training I went through were 1,400 that entered my class of 1990. We had a very high attrition rate. We lost 25%, right there around 925. The opportunity existed at that time because the U.S. military was transitioning from Desert Shield to Desert Storm. But I opted not to join the American Army, but to go back to Liberia that was undergoing an internal crisis and offer my services.
So you could have joined the American Army.
Definitely. I was a West Point graduate. I could have, but my priority was Liberia. So I went back to Liberia. I was supposed to come back to Liberia. When I graduated in May, I was going to be back in Liberia by June. But unfortunately, there were deviant minds on ground that assumed I was coming back to the country on a U.S. agenda and not as a patriot. So I got a call from my mentor at that time, one of the individuals that helped me to go to West Point, which was Colonel Arthur Bidell. And he told me, my son, don't come right now because people don't understand your intention. Okay? So I stayed in America until Dr. Sawyer, Dr. Kessley, and Eddie Dunn and some other folks came to a town hall meeting. I happened to attend that meeting. And Eddie Dunn and Dr. Kessley were aware that I was a West Point graduate. And they asked me, well, can you come to Liberia? Since the situation that prevented you from coming doesn't exist anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So I agreed. And a week or 2 weeks after, I went to Liberia. The rest is kind of history. Because when I got there, shortly after I entered Liberia, there was an incident at the Duka Hotel that involved shooting between the Nigerian Special Forces and the Ghanaian military wing that was there. And I interfered and interrupted the situation, put it under control with the help of some Nigerian officers that live right down Broad Street at Father King's house. After the incident, we had a briefing. And it was in that briefing I explained to the President Sawyer at that time that there's something called in the military flash and bang. Light and sound travel at 2 different speeds. So that's why when you hear the sound of a bullet, you're still alive because that bullet passed you. So I informed them that with all the capability of Echo More, there was a gap because there was no force control by the president to address crisis. Because the way Echo More was structured after an incident, there were individual military from different countries that would take the report, forward it to the commander in country. Commander in country sends it to the respective country. The defense ministry process it, take it to the foreign minister, to the president, and it comes back. Now, in that gap, a lot of things could go wrong. So it was after that incident that they set up a unit that ended up saving the country. Because when Octopus was launched, it was an 8-pronged attack. But what Octopus did not plan for was Black Beret. Because Black Beret entered Liberia 2 or 3 days before the launch of Octopus. And that was the saving grace. Along with the 72nd Special Forces Battalion of the Nigerian Army, they saved Monrovia. I was young then. I think I was like 25. I was appointed special assistant to Dr. Kessley and assistant minister of defense. At that time, Brandon Samokai was deputy for operations. And we effectively ran the war effort and protect a lot of citizens. You know, some people don't understand what it takes to protect a city against a rampaging rebel force. We did what we had to do. Former Sally joined us 2 years later, and the rest is history. But I've put in time, loyalty, patriotism, blood, sweat, everything for our country during the time of the rebel incursion. And we laid it all out. Now, it's unfortunate that people see that capacity as a threat. Okay, I use my martial skills to protect Liberians. There's no incident, my military career, intelligence career, security career, that any individual can point to me doing anything outside what is legally required of a military personnel, or security personnel, or intelligence personnel. I always operated within the confines of the law and the Constitution. I never violated anybody's constitutional rights in any shape or form. But when it comes to stopping people from harming Liberian citizens, I will provide my military capability, intelligence, security capability for the benefit of Liberian citizens. I've always done that, and I will always do that.
Mr. Madison, thank you very much. So I have here your e-ticket, the electronic copy of your ticket. It is dated here September 9th. September 9th. And you left Roberts International Airport and went to Accra, right? Is that so?
Yes, yes, definitely so.
It has a James Madison Tukma, September 9th, 2021, from Roberts International Airport to Accra. And you left at 7:30 a.m.
Yes.
And you arrived in Accra at 9:30 a.m. It's a 2-hour flight.
Yes.
And it says here you did your mandatory COVID testing 72 hours before you boarded this flight.
Yes.
And I have the information. I have the inside of your passport here. I also have your ticket with Emirates.
Yes.
That took
That
you
was for
to
Dubai.
Right?
Yes. Yes.
Good. I have a ticket here with Emirates. It says get CO2. I have here September 11.
Yes.
September 11. That's your boarding pass. Then I have your bag tax. I have your bag tax here. So Matt, so Mr. Madison talked about. So why do you think? I mean, you've clearly stated your background. So is that why you think people often try to associate you with possible military or sinister operations, stuff like that?
The reason is people of dubious character not only want to slander my name or go for defamation. The critical aspect is believability. Because of my capacity, when they use my name, understandably, the first question people will ask, does he possess the capacity or the capability
to do what he's been accused of?
Yes. So if that is yes, most people don't go through the mental exercise to analyze, yes, he has the capacity, but what are the logistics involved? Capacity is not the only thing. Like, for instance, do I have capacity, right? But I'm out of the country. So how is it possible for me to do something in the country when I'm hundreds of miles away? There's something called credible threat. If somebody is in Monrovia and another person is in Vonjeban and says to them on the phone, I'm going to slap you, it's a non-credible threat because the distance between you and the individual will not allow him to have a physical contact with you from Vonjeban to Monrovia. Okay? But if you are on Broad Street, standing right in front of the former immigration building, and somebody is across the road and say, I'm going to cross the road and slap you, because of the proximity, that's a credible threat. Because the person that's telling you they're going to slap you is a few feet away from you. So people use me and my capacity as a distraction to turn people's attention in another direction while they perpetrate the nefarious acts. Okay, so sometimes your blessing can be a curse if evil people want to use it to their advantage. But fortunately, in this incident, I'm miles away in another country with documentary evidence that I was nowhere near Liberia, nowhere in the Rural Union, within a country that had common border with Liberia, nowhere in West Africa in the ECOWAS region. I'm all the way in East Africa.
Nairobi,
which is a long haul.
far away. How long is a flight from Liberia to Nairobi, Kenya?
I don't know, because I didn't fly from Liberia to Kenya. I flew to Dubai. When I got done transacting my business in Dubai,
you went to Dubai.
I flew from Dubai, transited in Addis Ababa for a couple of hours, did some things there, and then left to come to Kenya. Okay, so I'm all the way across the continent with documentary evidence that I was not only not in Liberia, I was not in the Rural Union. For somebody said, oh, maybe he crossed the border and went back. I was not even in West Africa. So it's preposterous.
It is preposterous, to say the least. Now, you've been out of the country for 2 months.
Yes.
You're still out of the country.
Right now, as we speak.
You don't intend to return, what, in the next couple of days or weeks or anything like that?
No, when I get done with my transaction, I might have to go back to Dubai, then Ghana, then back to Liberia.
Mad Dog, sorry, I have to call you that way because that's how everybody calls you.
That's okay.
A guy like you with your expertise, are you willing to serve your country in an official capacity at any point in time when called upon?
Most definitely. But let me digress for a minute and extend my condolences to the Torba family, and let them know in no uncertain terms that what was said about being by some septic tank brain individual in North Africa, that it is a blatant lie, it is a malicious lie, it's a distraction. Though it's disingenuous, but they attempted this distraction so the family and other people who have interest in what is obtaining in murder cases can look the other way. Okay, so I extend my heartfelt condolences to the Torba family for the demise of one of their brothers, uncle, father. And when you look into the situation, it's even funny because somebody like Joseph Torba and his wife, Don Richard Torba, who was at Merrill Lynch with me when I was working for Merrill Lynch in America, Briggs Torba, Frank Torba, these are people I've been knowing for decades. Historically, since I joined the military in 1985, I have not had one single incident within a member of the Torba family. Okay, in cases of this, you look for motive. I have absolutely no motive to bring any harm to Reverend Torba. Secondly, beside the motive, you have logistical issues. Okay, and maybe they've been watching too many James Bond movies. Because let me just lay out the logistics that's involved if I'm in another country to come to Liberia to commit a crime.
Mm-hmm.
I will have to be or have some relationship with the country I'm in. Listen to it. That will block my exit. I cannot use commercial craft because if I use commercial craft, wherever country lane will be documented. I gotta use a private jet. So I will take a private jet from Nairobi. Depends on the size of the jet, it may need to refuel in another country. We provide additional documentation. I land to Robert Fee. They're gonna see me. They're gonna process the occupants of the private jet.
Oh, maybe you jump on the plane.
Exactly. Assuming I'm parachute qualified, right? So I jump out of the plane, I land. Wherever I land in Liberia, I got to cross over and go to Monserrate compound or wherever the incident occurred. So I get to Monserrate compound, perpetrate the crime. What's the exit strategy? You can't jump back into the plane. I got to use a boat or a seaplane, which is another logistical problem. So when I take up, there's no seaplane that can fly from Monrovia to Nairobi.
Not possible.
Yeah, okay. They don't have no jet seaplane, so you got to do multiple stops. All these got to be documented with landing permits. So how in the world I will do that? I'll be back in Nairobi in a short period of time. And if I had the capacity or the availability or connection in all the countries to perpetrate the crime, why in the world would I do it? I'm not in cahoots with the government. I've not seen Maggie for I don't know how many years, not even spoken to him on the phone. Okay, I have no relationship with anybody within the security architecture of Liberia. None whatsoever. So what's the motivation? The government will hire me to go and execute that kind of heinous crime, and I, with my level of intellect and patriotism, will perpetrate that crime that any simple-minded individual can do. It's a distraction, and their miscalculation will be the demise. Because now I'm pissed, so I will avail my capacity and availability to the Topper family, the sole desire to show them the fault lines. Okay, I'm not even extending the conversation to the law enforcement entity Liberia. I'm just saying the family needs to know what caused the demise of one of them. And if the law enforcement do not provide adequate satisfaction to them, there are many professionals in Liberia within the serving.
Okay, we have a little trouble with Madison's connection there. Folks, if you're just tuning in, Boakai, are you guys back with us there?
Sure, I'm here.
Did you guys manage to get a generator started?
Manage somehow, some way, you know.
Well, the thing is, Dana Boakai era there, so. So yeah, but
because it's good that Mr. Madison came home to make this clarification. His name's been in the news out there. A lot of people just coming up.
Man. You saw the document, you saw the things I tell you?
Yeah.
He plane tickets for all the different countries. He stopped Dubai, the boarding pass, everything. I just sent them to you. I hope we can get him to reconnect with us. But you have everything there, brother.
Yeah.
Got a picture of him with his son in Dubai, in Kenya, with his son and his friends. So the man out of the country for 2 months, but the man could kill somebody in Liberia? Why? How is that possible?
I don't know how's that possible, because if he was away for this time, this length of time.
But you saw the dates on the ticket.
You know, that's why we normally say about the Facebook, everybody on Facebook running their shows and doing whatsoever thing. But welcome back, Mr. Madison.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, so, and you know, Matt, it's good we're back at full capacity because, you know, we streamed the show on 6 platforms. So when we were off on the other platforms, but we're back on all of them now. So it was good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So
I'm saying this is a distraction, but it misfired because one, I'm not in the country. And I provided irrefutable evidence that I've been out of the country for 2 months.
Yeah, because people can check the airlines. It's very simple.
But they can check the immigration departure list in Liberia and the video cameras. So let's start from there and see if there was any return. However, I've provided without any hesitation irrefutable proof that I'm out of the country. They accuse us, these individuals, of septic tank intellect with a smartphone, automatically assume they are credible journalists and spewing vicious lies about people. I challenge them to provide a single shred of evidence that put me in Liberia in the last 2 months. One single shred of evidence that they can use to prove that I've been in Liberia in the last 2 months.
Well, the thing about it is that Mad Dog is that they didn't provide any evidence, according to what I'm told. Boaga, did you hear them provide any evidence at all?
Not of all.
And in fact, they say he's in the country, right?
Sure.
But yet the man banking here for 2 months. We got all his plane ticket, everything. That what the man joining us from? Matter, you mind showing us? I see you.
Exactly. I'm in transit. I'm in transit, so you can see for yourself where I am. You see, do any of the place look there anywhere in Liberia?
But I've been learning grocery or my dog.
All the high-rise buildings. I'm all the way across the continent. All the way across the continent. Nowhere near Liberia, my dear brother. Nowhere near Liberia. So it's a blatant lie.
Yeah, well, you know, except you can violate the law of impenetrability to be at two places at the same time.
I know, and we gotta go by and change all the scientific laws.
Well, but anyway, you know, Madison, we want to say thank you, and you know, a lot of people respect you. A lot of people respect you, and people always say, "Why isn't a guy like Madison in the security sector? You know, why is he helping?" Madison, let me ask you a question while you're on. Now that we're done with that nonsense, but you know, all these murders, all the crime, and all these things going on in the country. Let's talk to you as a security professional, not a politician. What do you think we can do to fight this from a security standpoint? You know, how can we help? What can be done to bring this under control?
Well, you know, I will give you an example. When I train the Special Emergency Response Unit, with guys, the T-Swing, PI, even the current EPS director, you know, an incident happened at the stadium, the Liberian-Ghana game, when we unveiled the Special Emergency Response Unit. There was an incident where people were bringing water because Dr. Sawyer and Jerry Rollins, because that time Dr. Sawyer was in Ghana. He was supposed to come and watch the game with Jerry Rollins. Unfortunately, because the logistics didn't happen. But they were taking some water into the VIP. And the guy stopped there. And the ECMO guy said, "But why are you stopping there?" And they ordered a bottle of water closed. And the guy said, "Look, we're trained. You need a syringe to poke a little hole in a bottle of water, you know, and put whatever you want into it." So the guy looked at the guy and said, "Are you guys from the Marines or something?" The guy said, "No, we're Liberians." I'm using that to illustrate the point. There are Liberians in Liberia as we speak, with the investigative capacity, the street knowledge, the training to help the government reduce the kinds of incidents if the government so desires. The point being, the people who are inside are threatened by the capacity of the people who are outside. They're even suppressing some people who are inside that have the capacity. So, in my opinion, it's not so much a lack of capacity as it is that those who inside should reduce their ego, reduce their pride, and open the door for capacity from outside. I give you a common example. These people don't have to be paid. Okay? You got three guys. One of the things that causing the problem is when they were transitioning, like in the AFL and in the police, they shredded the institutional knowledge. Okay? The guys who had the institutional knowledge of law enforcement and military tactics, military operation, were sidelined. They brought in new people. Even some of the people that they kept are being marginalized. You got brilliant minds in Liberia who can solve these cases, you know. But I mean, you can't go, or what is it, 8, 9, 10, 0. I mean, the auditors, the new people. I mean, and now one case is solved. Now one person is caught up. Nobody's taken to jail. That
So
means there's a lot.
So this can be attributed to lack of capacity, lack of training, and stuff like that, right?
Exactly.
Because people cannot be caught.
No, it's not that. Look, like for instance, let's use Reverend Talbot case, right? And let's use John Dogman case. And from what I gathered from the incident, there was a fight Both of these guys are tough guys. There was a fight. So when they did a forensic analysis, I mean, they will say they can't give us information now, which is okay, but did a forensic analysis show multiple blood stains from different people, because each person got their own DNA, right? So if people enter the compound and fought with these people, okay, and there's a lot of blood around, did they have the capacity to differentiate whether there were more than one person that were wounded in that incident?
I don't think they do have the capacity.
Okay, now there's some simple things. They can go back 90 days. Even the family will subpoena the records or the telephone conversation to know who the people interacted with in the past 90 days preceding the demise. Okay, then you create a matrix. You cross-reference the calls with the calls that were made. And in that matrix, you look for connectivity between those calls and other callers. So if I call you and call Boyka, and after my call to you and Boyka talk, it shows that some connectivity between my calls to you and Boyka and your calls after my calls. So in that communication matrix, you can start looking at frequency trends on the day of the demise, the days preceding the demise, who was spoken to, all the people. Now, there were security guards in the compound, I presume.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. What were the security doing? How is it possible, if they're not complicit to the deal, given the numbers you got, where everybody's sleeping? If there was a fight going on in the compartment, nobody heard it. Are there any neighbors? So that's what called canvassing. Okay, they got to preserve the crime scene, canvass everybody who around them, and start building or matrix to look for motive. Now, if you look at who he called, did he call people in the government? Was the appointment set? What the frequency of the call? So you start building a matrix that will allow you. You see, solving murder case is a puzzle. At the beginning, you don't know anything, but you start picking up clues, and you look for connectivity. You look at the trending. Then you start interrogating the people who were called. Yes. And when you don't, you have a complete picture. Okay? So there are capable individuals. As we speak, we're in the police right now. With brilliant minds, you got guys like Olu Briggs, who will be marginalized. You got the cowboy PR. Okay, you got a young buck or Howard Jones. You got a lot of guys. You got choir. You got a lot of guys that run the street. You got Flobo. Okay, so one aspect of it is the intellectual capacity. The other aspect of it is what physical capacity is being induced into the police to address the issues. A murder case requires a lot of movement. So if no gas in your car, will a police individual fund the gas allocation to chase that murder case for 1, 2, 3 weeks? That every time he moves, he got to pay for gas, whatever the situation is. So one side is the capacity is there, the other side is the logistics are lacking. So it makes it even more difficult. And the most critical time for murder investigation is the first one. So at extreme 96 hours. Those are critical time. What the security guys bring are fresh. People who might hear something are capable of recounting that with a certain level of efficiency. Mm-hmm. Okay. So a lot of these things are happening because the perpetrators of these crimes are operating from a standpoint of impunity. The preceding murders, nobody was caught. So of course, a certain amount of braggadocio and bravery gets in the mind of people who will be aspiring to perpetrate the kind of, I'm not going to be caught.
Yeah, but Mala, there's another angle to it. Talking about people getting emboldened that they can do it and get away with it. When the government came up the last time, the police director, and said very definitively that these bodies, including the video footage that we're seeing and all that kind of stuff, and these things were all fabricated, it's not true, nobody's getting killed and all that kind of stuff. What do you think that did to the perpetrators, the people who were committing these murders? Do you think that sent a message to say, oh, it's okay, the government is in denial? Do you think that helped? Was that counterproductive, do you think?
It was, because a criminal will say, but forget about the government even being complicit in it. The criminal will say, but if they don't even know we exist, how are they going to catch us?
Thank you.
You see what I'm saying? If I'm doing something as a criminal and you don't know about it, how are you going to catch me? Costa, you in America, I gave you a simple thing for you to think about, right? when you're driving on a highway in America and you see an empty police car on the median, don't everybody slow down?
We do that all the time.
There's no cop in the car. The car is empty sitting on the median.
I will look at my speed. If I'm doing 80 in a 665, I'm gonna start hitting that thing, my brother. Or I'll take my foot off the brake, off the gas.
You know why that happens? You know why that happens? Because the citizens of the country have been mentally traumatized to fear the police. Yes. Yeah. So that is the form of deterrent. You can never have a police officer for each citizen. There's a ratio in civilized countries. Look, go for between 1 to 4 to 1 to 9. Okay? Look at a country like China and India, 1.4 billion people. We're not going to have 400 million police people. Nope. No. But the Chinese are socialized to understand that if I commit this crime, when they come for me, I know what will happen. So it's that deterrent potential that creates sanity and stability within an environment. So if there's no deterrent to commit a crime, why do I have to go by the law? And criminals are by nature not law-abiding citizens. So they don't care about the law unless there's a deterrent. Unless there's a deterrent, they will continue to perpetrate their crimes. So we have logistic issue. The personal issue, in my belief, you got capable people. Let's say, for example, take a hypothetical situation. The police director convenes a commission of former police directors, former high-ranking police individuals that want to incident in the court. He invites them over for a seminar and says, gentlemen, these things are inquiring. We ask you guys to contribute to how we can solve the problem. You know, they say no man's an island. I don't care how smart you are, you don't have monopoly on intelligence. Okay? Okay, I'm very competent in my skill set, but I still train zero because you can't be everywhere at the same time. These guys, Chris Massaquoi, or A.B. Croman, or Gregory Cuomo, these guys are still around. Even if you set up a virtual place, say we face with the crime, let's do training analysis, let's look for common links in the case. These cases will not be unsolvable, but you need the mental capacity. You need the mental capacity. You know, that's why the guy who graduated, the top of his class is not made the attorney general the next day. Because there are nuances on the job, things that you have to learn, that you have to think through. A seasoned investigator and a rookie investigator will not see a crime scene the same way. Because he has years and years, he has failure, he has successes. So when he's looking at a situation, his deduction is predicated not only on what he sees, but his ability and experience in linking these situations together. So it's not a fly-by-night thing to say, I'm going to be a competent investigator today because I joined the police yesterday, I'm a smart guy. There's more to it than that. But if we don't put our ego and pride aside and invite incompetent people who can help the system, those who are internal as well as those who are external, it's going to be a problem. Because you got a joke for me about this security of the state and the state of security.
I remember sometimes many years ago.
Yeah, sometimes the state of security, which means those things that are happening within the country, the economic factors, the sociological issues, and all those things that weave themselves together a fabric to create a nation. If those things are threatened, sometimes the security of the state, meaning the law enforcement and military and other people, can offset it. But where we are right now at this junction, both are compromised. Okay? The people who sort of provide security to the state are compromised. The state of security, the people within the state feel a certain amount of vulnerability that exacerbated by the security infrastructure inability to make them comfortable about solving cases. So I'm sitting there thinking, but if somebody from my family die, nothing's going to happen. The perpetrator is not going to be caught. This will lead to people now lacking the belief that an internal security structure can provide security for them. So now you go for one man one, and that leads to vigilantism.
And that is very bad.
That's very bad. But if the vacuum is created, something got to fill it.
Anarchy.
The people are not going to let criminals run over there. The vacuum has to be filled. So either the government and the law enforcement infrastructure will fill it, or the people fill it by themselves, or the criminals will overrun the country. There's only three options. Okay.
So where do we go from here? The health of the state of security and the security of the state, they're both in a deplorable state. Where do we go from here?
Yeah. The government will be working towards reducing the people's concerns for the state of security. Those economic factors, financial factors, indicators that show that the country is not functioning. While the government is working on bringing that up to international standard, they got to be supplemented and complemented by security infrastructure that can create a semblance of confidence within the citizenry that, look, we don't have to fight. The government is fighting for us. Because safety is the number one factor. If I'm an investor and the people are being killed and the perpetrators are operating a level of impunity,
I'm not going to want to go to
I'll be afraid to come. So it is mutually supportive and counterproductive for the government to allow this thing to happen. So, you have people in the government, you have a justice minister who can convene a forum of competent security professionals within the country to help with the case. I mean, it doesn't have to be only the police. There's a national issue. There's an issue for everybody.
But Madison, you have the Minister of Finance appearing on talk shows to speak to security issues. I mean, what kind of confidence would that give to anyone?
None. Look, you see, the thing is, no matter how smart or competent software is, there's something called compartmentation. Okay? The police director will never go on air and talk about the fiscal policies of the country. It's not his business. You will never see that. But at a certain level in government, there's tendency for crossover appeal. Okay? And it doesn't work. It's a responsibility of the presidency to control people who are assigned for certain tasks. The security tasks were assigned to the Ministry of Justice and the component subunits, immigration, police, okay, fire service. You have the military, you have the defense minister, DEA. So each one of these people have a law, okay, that created them. And within that creation is a mandate of the operational framework. If you ask something about security, you ask the Minister of Justice. Because the Minister of Justice will be held responsible.
Mago, there is another element of this fast deteriorating state of security in the country that affects the economy. Let's look at this usually thriving hospitality or entertainment industry we have in the country. Nightclubs, bars, drinking spots, as we call them. They're losing money because people aren't staying out late to spend money if they have it. They're leaving the streets early, and it's costing those businesses revenue, and it's hurting the country. Do these people see the economic impact of domestic, internal economic impact of the worsening state of security or security of the state?
AC. Back in the day, I don't know how old some people are in the listening public, but at 4 o'clock in the morning, you go take a taxi, and that taxi will drop you to your front door.
That's true.
You could walk Broad Street, you could walk West Point, you could walk PHB Center Street 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. Nobody will bother you. It was unheard of for people to be snatching your bag. Yeah, there were petty crimes, but not on the scale that we're seeing right now. Fear is contagious. Okay? I give you a funny scenario. If a car muffler backfire and 2 or 4 people start running, everybody will start running behind it. We're all thinking because fear is contagious. Fear is contagious. So where the fear is right now, the fear have crested and slept over the hill going downstream. So it building momentum. Even people who have the level to be protected are afraid. They're telling the kids, their sisters, their brothers, their husbands, their uncles, not to go out. So the genesis of the economic impact we're seeing right now is the duration that the fear have prevailed, that it become a permeated the society, and the fear has become contagious. So to reverse this trend, you got to build some semblance of confidence in the general public about the safety, and then work from that platform. If the people don't feel safe, they're going to stay home. And not only going to affect the income generating entities out there, it will affect the government itself, because there's some people who work in the night for the government. So why would a woman want her husband to go out and take that risk, or a man who want his wife to go outside and take that risk? You know, it's very serious.
Mr. Madison, the police RGs keep saying that the issue about death in the country is being politicized by the opposition community. It's not happening. It's not
true. Do you
true.
think that's a professional statement? That's a good point Margaret has made. Is that a professional statement for him to be accusing the opposition of politicizing death, murders?
Okay, so there's nobody in the opposition that died. Well, so all the auditors were members of the ruling party. So everybody who died to date were member of the ruling party, or the opposition killing their own people.
They dismiss those deaths as natural.
Yeah.
I mean, that is how can two people get in a car, leave their homes, come on Broad Street, sit there, and just die in a car?
There are many ways to commit suicide. The thing people need to understand is carbon monoxide death is possible in an enclosed environment. Broad Street is an open air environment. Broad Street is an open air environment. Okay? So the exhaust from the car is going to open air. Even if you open your window, it's not going to kill you. So all the people that stay in traffic when the traffic jam for hours, why don't they die in the car? They sit in the car is running, the exhaust is going on. So why don't they die? Because they're in an open air environment. You see, when people do these things, they don't contextualize it. Okay? When the exhaust comes from the car, okay, if people, you know about carbon emissions, right? It goes into the air. That's why we're having the greenhouse effect.
Yep.
Okay, so if somebody sitting in the car on Broad Street, how is it possible that the exhaust will filter back into the car? Second thing is, even if you put a tube across the window, there will be still some level of ventilation. And somebody come and knock on the window and say, leave me alone. If you're in an induced state or approaching coma, you'll be having a lucid conversation with somebody who's knocking on your window?
That's what it said. They said in a report,
how is that possible?
Somebody knocked the window, called their attention, and they told the person to leave them alone.
So carbon dioxide death is something like the frog story. If you throw a frog in boiling water or try to jump up, but if the water is cold, you turn it on a slow heat, the warmth will build up to the frog until it gets to the point where it's being boiled. Okay? Now, you go into a slowly induced coma with the fumes from the exhaust. So where in that semi-coma state, you'll be having a lucid conversation with somebody knocking on your glass. How?
But who was there to say who was knocking on the glass?
But I'm not even dealing with where it came from, the fact that I was printed in a report.
Yeah, they put it in a report, but I thought about that. I thought about it, okay, how did they know? Did this person come forward to say, I was there, I knocked the window, I tried to call their attention, and they didn't hear me? So the question is, how would that person, that random person who showed up and knocked the window, how would they know that those people were at risk of getting killed by the fumes being emitted from the exhaust, the carbon monoxide?
Exactly. Yeah.
Do you just see random people sitting on Broad Street in their car and they're going to
knock on the car glass?
Oh, you're dying.
And the person will respond to you, leave me alone.
Yeah, leave me alone. We are enjoying our slow death.
No, but look, on a serious note, right? I think the core issue here is Even if the police cannot solve the case, that one issue, right?
Mhm.
But making the rest of the country feel stupid is another problem.
Aha!
Okay.
There
Okay.
you go.
Inability to solve, even in a great America, they got unsolved cases.
There
So
you go.
there
Why
will
do
be
why do
unsolved
they make the
cases.
people feel that
But
they're stupid?
you can say certain things to people that a prudent man will not accept, and accept them to accept it supinely when some of the people got superior intellect. Even people with mediocre intellect, something just won't make sense to them. So the problem is being exacerbated by the utterances.
But then
You
what
know,
that's doing, Madison, is that it's further undermining the public's trust in the security system.
exactly.
And then
That's
it's
why you
giving
see,
rise to all the perceptions and conspiracy theories and believability, lending currency to the suspicions that people have that the people were murdered. How do you expect them to not think that way?
but look, in the absence of or carefully guided public engagement between law enforcement and the public, something will always go wrong. Only people who understand the situation surrounding a murder case should speak. And they should speak with a certain amount of coherence, transparency, integrity, and credibility that will allow the listening public to deduce on their own or in a forum where they will gather that, yeah, this makes sense. Okay, if the police is short logistics, that's a physical thing. If they're being marginalized in their ability to solve the murder case, is another thing. But spewing of verbiage and rhetorics that is incapable of disabusing the general public or your level of integrity in the situation will be counterproductive.
But
Not only is the case
that's all they're
unsolved,
doing. They're resorting to
not only the
rhetoric.
case unsolved, but you give him bad press. And the bad press is self-induced because the people who's giving this press are people who's supposed to be working on the case. It's not strangers. Okay, when a press conference comes from an official part of the government, it's not gossip. It's what
Wow.
it is. I mean, if you don't know, Costa, if you don't know, we're working on it. When we get credible information, we'll get back to you.
That's
But saying the wrong thing,
let me hold you right there. That's the language we hear from U.S. law enforcement folks. At this point, we're at this
yes,
stage of the investigation. We have some leads. We are following them. We'll inform you when we have something. But our man can just say, "That lie." Don't listen to opposition. They
Yes.
lie.
They are trying to
Costa,
undermine the
look,
government.
a way to diffuse that is to do a statistical analysis of people who would die in the last 90 days with their families. It will prove. So you say nobody died. Why are the family grieving?
Thank you.
Why are the family grieving? So if you do analysis of St. Moses, Strecker, Anderson, and all the people then, the family show these bodies are physical bodies that have been brought. Okay, someone else wounded for this. So how are you saying people not dying? So the auditor didn't die, Reverend Tubber didn't die, the immigration woman didn't die, John Tubman didn't die. Maybe they are just more public deaths.
There
Okay,
are
high
other people
profile
who are
deaths.
not as known as these people
Okay, so
were.
yeah, so there are other people who die also. So you know, this is not a prohibited case. It's not unsolvable, but the ego and pride of the existing law enforcement architecture need to be put aside, either by them being professional individually or by an order of the justice minister who can convene a security symposium to address it with all the acquiescence of the director of police. The presidency can induce it with all the acquiescence of the justice minister. Okay. The legislature got oversight on intelligence and defense and all that, both in the House and in the Senate. They can get involved. So it's not an unsolvable case. It's just got to be a national coordination to address it because it's everybody's problem. It's everybody's problem.
Mr. Madison, thank you very, very much. It's been a fantastic pleasure having you on. You know, speaking of the kind of confusing rhetoric they put out there, somebody just sent me this headline. On the 13th of October, the spokesman for the Liberia National Police said, quote, "We are awaiting the pathologist results. Once foul play has been established, the person of interest will be picked up," unquote. Then on the 3rd of November, 2021, this statement was issued from the Ministry of Justice. Quote, "The Ministry of Justice has ordered post-mortem examinations of the remains of John Tubman, Maud Elliott, and William Richard Talbot as part of a full-scale investigation into their deaths." So, all the way back here on the 13th of October, Moses, what's his name, Carter, was saying something else. And then on November 3rd, several weeks later, the Minister of Justice was, I mean, it says October 13th to November 3rd, they hadn't come up with anything. They were still saying the same thing. That we will, I mean, how many weeks will it take? They're not speaking in sync. There's distraction, there's discord, there's confusion, there's no coherent messaging. I mean, all of that just exudes more incompetence, and it's just.
You know, AC, there's a fundamental issue with cartel utterance, right? So, if you're waiting for a particular a report on the disease, and then the person of interest will be picked up, that presupposes that you already know who
You
the
already
person
know the
of
person of
interest is.
interest.
So
Why
what investigation? The person is brutally murdered, and you already have a person of interest. You're waiting for a report to pick them up. You can invite them in for questioning. You can start an investigation. What the report will
See
do
what the
will
alibis are,
corroborate.
where they were when the incident took place. What if there are people who can substantiate an alibi and stuff like that, right? And build a file.
So you're waiting. So the person of interest is alive. The person will not leave the country or go in hiding or disappear. They're just going to be sitting there waiting for your report so you can go pick them up. Why are they still free? A person interested in a murder case
Wow.
is free. How? I don't know.
Wow.
But you know, on the justice minister side, you see, the spokesman for the police, there's a distance between the spokesman for the police and the minister of justice. So the minister of justice comments or utterance could probably be predicated on the fact that he have not gotten the desired report he wanted up to this point. Now, the buck stopped with the justice minister. I don't know which day he made that statement. After he made that statement now, you can start counting. Okay, so when did they engage the pathologist?
Mm-hmm.
And how long is it taking a pathologist? You know, there's normalcy in every profession. Things that operate in a normal time frame. A pathologist will not take 6 months to view your body. Okay, so there's a reasonable time frame in which the report from the pathology should be in the hands of the investigator.
Weeks, even with that case backlog, it should be a few weeks.
But you see, the way cases work out in most things is like their prioritization. Okay, somebody stealing somebody's hair on Broad Street does not have the same level of interest as 3 vicious murders. Okay, they will jump straight to the front of the line. But 2 of them are former president kids. Okay, in a short period of time. Okay, so that automatically makes it a national case. One of them is a former Goodwill ambassador. That makes it an international case. Yeah, so in order of priority, the backlog is irrelevant in this case.
Yeah, of course.
It's the ultimate priority right now at this point.
Yeah.
You can't subject it to putting it in a queue and subject it to normal procedure. It's an anomaly. It's an anomaly. You can't quantify or qualify one individual as being more important than the other. But in the order scheme of things, or death for one single armed robbery will not generate the public sentiments or the public fear.
As would the murder of the son of a
a
president.
goodwill ambassador.
Or two that good, the man was a goodwill ambassador. He was not just an ordinary person.
Yeah. So it will claim international attention, it will claim regional attention, sub-regional attention. So it's not about quantifying or qualifying, but all priorities should take precedent.
Look, it's been fantastic having you on, Mad Dog. People are asking that we'll bring you on from time to time as our security consultant or commentator.
No, seriously. Seriously, whatever I record, and unfortunately for me, I shy away from these interviews. But where we're going right now, history will be asking where were people like us when the thing was going on that we didn't step up, and to bring some semblance, of standardization to it. Where were you, Madison, that you didn't talk in this thing, you didn't say anything? Where were you, Gregory Coleman? Where were you, A.B. Coleman? Where were you, Chris Massacre? So it's now a national issue. There's no personal issue here. Okay, if this thing didn't happen to me, which is a personal issue, I wouldn't be on the show, and won't be talking. I wouldn't have availed myself for you to ask the questions. So yeah, it's right. From time to time, if you feel some of these things are dubious, they're not meeting the normal standard, I'm available. You call me, we're going to discuss it in depth. Because people need to hear, not necessarily an opposing view, but they need to hear from experts on how this thing will be looked at by experts, not by laymen, because anybody can form an opinion. You can say, hey, you can go to the doctor and the brain surgeon can say, look, you have a tumor. But to the outsider, it's just a headache. So unless we delve into this thing, do an in-depth analysis consistently to change the status quo will perpetuate itself. And it's a vicious circle. Each time there's death, the fear, it will become an exponential factor. Either that or people dying will become so normal that will cease to be relevant. And then we're descending back to the barbaric days. Then we're living like barbarians. We come too far in civilization. We have a sovereign nation. We have law and order. Something got to be done to make the general public and the individual citizen feel safe. And it's not rocket science. The capacity is there. The human capacity and human intellect is there. Put your pride and ego aside and call them. Say, this for a national cause. I can tell people some things, I say, if you look at a guy like Bill Clinton and a guy like Obama, two guys of superior intellect, are looking for competent people to help them run a government. Who are you that you don't know that you need competent people? Two of the brilliant minds are looking for people to make them look better. So it's when you surround yourself by competent people, your competence increase exponentially. Because when you turn to your left, you got a competent person. You turn to your right, so your burden will be reduced. The glory will still accrue to you.
Yeah.
Well, you messed up, it will still accrue to you. So why do you opt for doing it right so you can get the glory? If you have this symposium of the professionals that are outside the security structure, what will change? You have the job title. Whatever service they render to the country, it happened on your watch. On the contrary, if you go for one-man one and their capacity lacking and you fail, it will still happen on your watch. So for a win-win situation, get the people who can do the job and take the glory. It's just that simple. Because when you manifest your ego in your professional job that is for the general public, everybody who is appointed within the security structure is there to serve the general public. You're not there to serve your ego or your pride. So when you prioritize your ego and pride over the service to the general public, then what is your service to the public? You're serving yourself. You go to parties sometimes, people be laughing, the DJ mess up. Why? The DJ is not playing for the party, he's playing for himself. And the whole purpose of a DJ is to satisfy the crowd. You're working for the people of Liberia. You in service to the people of Liberia. albeit you appoint and serve by the will and pleasure of the president, but that job description is to serve the people. So even if you call outsiders, okay, governments don't hire consultants. Why? Why? Because if the knowledge is not there, you got to find it from somewhere that
They
test
will
it and
source
try
it
it.
from outside.
The best and the brightest, the hire consultants. Okay, and I gave another simplistic analogy. Because that if you by any means catalog all the brain surgeons in the world, the guy by whatever criteria who become number one, that he is the number one brain surgeon in the world, I guarantee you, if you have a toothache, he's going to look for the best dentist. It does not affect his professional standard, credibility, or rating that he's seeking another professional to solve a problem for him professionally.
And he knows
He's not going to say, because I'm the best brain surgeon, I'm going to take out my own tooth. It doesn't make sense. You know, from anthropology to zoology, we got our brains capable. Use them. Use them. We got a national crisis.
Insecurity. Thank you so much, my brother.
We got to address it.
We'll bring it on from time to time when the need arises, especially on the security stuff. Thank you so much, Mad Dog. And safe travels wherever you're going, and have a beautiful day.
Okay. All right, Walker. See you guys later.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Cheers.
Okay. Well, folks, there you have it. That's Mr. Madison Tukpa. He's a Liberian security professional. Tons of years of experience under his belt, and well trained, and understands the issues. And we hope the government can tap into people such as himself and try to give some confidence, restore some confidence in the public. And by having people, they don't have to necessarily work in the government, but they can hire them as professional consultants to basically help, and form a team and get these guys, all these experienced people who've done it before, who've been there, who've done that. It's important, Waka. It's very important, because as it is, that's what they're doing.
Sure.
The man doesn't care. So we need people like Madison Tupa and his likes to be engaged professionally, to consult with the government, to provide, to avail the expertise, to help. I mean, people are scared. The government is trying to have to celebrate 200 years of the bicentenary thing. How many people are going to come?
Because the problem about the government is that they behave like they know all. They don't need help from anybody. Once you are not attached with them, they don't need help from you. Not only
for that, there are several reasons. Yeah, like you said it right, Rocket. There are two reasons why. One, they know they know shit. That's why they're insecure of bringing people who know something. That's one. So because the marijuana knows shit that the marijuana know all. Because he tries to mask, to hide his ignorance. Because they're insecure. And an insecure man never wants to bring someone that's smart near him, because you want a man to outshine him. So that's their fear. And then ultimately, unfortunately, what that does is that it makes them look bad, because you ain't know anything and you're feeling badly, and you would not try to seek help from outside, and you're doing badly, and things are bad. So you still take the fall. So why don't you go and consult with the people? You don't have to publicly announce that the government has signed a consultancy agreement with Madison. Consultants don't take credit, they don't take glory.
Because within themselves, they are not thinking that they are doing bad. Or they are thinking that all what's happening is good.
But then the rest stupid. If all they think they think they're doing good, then something got to be wrong with them.
Yeah, but that's a Costa, because if I do something and I know it's bad, people cry about it, I will make a change. I will seek advice from other people, or seek advices from other people. But Costa, you keep doing one thing over and over, and you expect something to change, and it's not changing, and you keep doing it. It means that within yourself, you know that you are doing better.
There's something Madison said. He said, fear is contagious. When people get afraid, you live in a country, I don't. People get afraid, and they start getting afraid. That fear grows it takes a life form of its own.
Mm.
Now, fear is living among the people
Sure.
that everybody is afraid. But it affects businesses that are in the country. I'm not even talking about foreign business people.
Mm.
There are Liberians now who don't even want to go to Liberia. Christmas is coming. Christmas is next month.
Yeah.
You know how many people go to Liberia every December, right?
Every
People go to hang out, they stay out late, they spend a lot of money. The economy looks forward to Christmas because people spend a lot of money. But Bwakai, a lot of people I know in this country, in America, will not go to Liberia this year for Christmas because they are afraid.
Yeah.
And when those people don't go to Liberia, all the thousands and thousands of dollars those thousands of people spend, I mean, you know, it means that thousands of people come to the country at one point in the year. One point.
Yeah.
They are bringing, those thousands of people will spend millions of dollars.
Yeah.
If 2,000 people go to Liberia in Christmas, and that number is even small, that's a very conservative number I'm giving you. More or less. Let's say 2,000 people go to Liberia in a year, and each person will spend something like $2,000 per person. That's $4 million. If 2,000 Liberians go to Liberia from America alone,
yeah,
and they spend $2,000 per person, that's $4 million US. Do you know how many people will not go this year? Because of all these unsolved, terrible murders. People are scared. And they're sitting there, and our son of a president is there watching a football game where his son is on the damn bench. So these guys don't understand the economic implications here, Bwakai. When people go to Liberia, Christmas time especially, they hang out, they spend money, they give money to their friends, they do this, they do that. It's just all around money can waste during Christmas time in Liberia, Bwakai. All the parties, the different year-end parties are held all over the place.
Nightclubs all packed. People
everywhere,
from
all the beaches.
Because after working throughout the year, they say, "Oh, let me go back home and then
go
chill."
Home to chill, Bwakai.
That's all. Yeah.
But they're not gonna go home this year. Not many people are gonna go home this year. And he may not take it for fun. It's an end of the year windfall, economic windfall for the country. And we're gonna lose out on that. The hospitality industry, all the bars, the beaches, the nightclubs, the restaurants. Liberians go to America to Liberia, they were walking on water. Yeah, I know them. When the men are ready to go to Liberia, when the women, the guys are going to go to Liberia, they were living here with Bill Gates. That Bill Gates living in the same community. My man, I tell you, you know what they can spend money on that? Because when they come back here, then they get their tax return in February. They know they're coming to get some money back. And he got into when they go like, bro, that time they get all the Jews there, they can say, oh, the single, they did the dawa, and that. You know what I mean, boy?
Yeah, nah.
So, but I know a lot of people right here on their live feed who will not be going to Liberia this year. It is sad. You're losing millions and millions of dollars. People can't go home because they're scared. It's not that there's no crime in America. People can't get shot. But what? That somebody would go into Reverend Topper's home and murder him in cold blood and nothing. And John Hillary Topper, they kill him too the same way, nothing. The auditors murdered by the government people, nothing. Oh man.
Costa, from the beginning of January up to now, all of the deaths that have occurred, there haven't been one absolutely nothing about information that, oh, this person is the one responsible for this, or this one happened, this don't happen. Absolutely not. So these things create a fear within us, the citizen. Now, a few weeks ago, we see Bali here, we see Bali there, or on the streets of Liberia. Then the government will come and say, oh, it's the opposition that is responsible for this. They're coming up with fake news, coming up with propaganda to undermine the government.
Why?
What do you think?
Why?
Yeah.
You know the other reason why the government would lose? Earlier we were talking about why the government would not win the election, right?
Mm.
You know the other. What's the number one thing that scares the people now more than anything else in the country?
Secret killings.
Thank you. These murders.
Mm-hmm.
You live there.
Yeah.
You think people are gonna go for 40 minutes? But you laughing, you know. The people are already hungry. Then they're killing it. My man is putting their cigarettes out. Miss Stevie, Mario Congo, all the young boys, when they men ready to go, they will shop the bar, all they beat him, my man. They can be looking, they can be shiny. Then they got their water bottle.
That white tower.
The white tower, they say,
where underwear, the December.
The beat up, the shiny on me. Then the Judas see that. They be like, damn, man, what? America, is that coming? Yeah, man, you know, they can spend. They can spend money because you know what, when they come back and the tax season can come. So they can get all that money back. But now, instead of getting that kind of money, we can't get that kind of money in like Britain because they're not going. Bugger, I've lived here now for 6 years, right? But I've never considered myself as somebody living here. This is the longest time I've not been to Liberia, but I've never considered myself living here. So I can feel like I'm a stranger here. I don't know. That's how I feel, and I'm okay. I'm okay with that. You know, I've never considered myself. So like when I talk about them. Like I don't like I'm not part of them. Like they cry the border and I go Liberia and be looking sharp and be all like that. I don't see myself as one of them.
No, because like when it is December, all the relationship in Liberia go on pause up. They will go on pause on from the beginning of December to January. Because the December I promise all our students say we coming. When they come in, all our relationship, everything with Chakla. Once the December here, they take over.
But I want to make this announcement. It's a missing person's announcement. A young man by the name of Archie Cassell graduated from the University of Liberia. You know, his mother's name is Mary Camus. Her phone number is 0888 01 4240. Archie Cassell went missing about 3 weeks ago now. About 3 weeks ago. They can't find him. They've been looking for him. And anybody knowing any information, I'm told he went to a place in Broadville called Moulton Corner. About 3 weeks now, they've been looking for Archie Cassell. If you know the young man, if you know where he is, please call his mother's number, Mary Camus. She is very, 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 very worried about her son, as would any loving, caring mother. He's a young man, a University of Liberia graduate. His mother is Mary Camus. His name is Archie Cassell. His mother's number is 0888 01 4240. Bogai, I want you to please remind me so that we can keep running this amazing person's announcement for Archie Cassell. If you know his whereabouts, he was last seen in Moulton Corner, Broadville. Please do inform his mother. I just gave you the number, 0888 014240. His mother is Mary Kamu. Archie is missing. We have the picture. I will publish the picture later on today. If you know his whereabouts, please contact his mother, Archie Cassell. Last seen, his last whereabouts, Broville, Moulton Corner. We went to church with Joe Boaga on Sunday at the Understanding Life Ministry Church, a beautiful service, Boaga. I did a little, I went live during a segment of the service. And from Sunday to now, 71,000 people have watched the video. 71,000 people. You know, when I see other people say, oh, we can get views, we can get views. You know when you know you can really get views? Not during your live podcast. We all can get thousands of views. With people, our record is yet to be broken. But you know when you can get views? After your show, after your podcast. You wait and see how many people will come after to watch. 71,000 people from Sunday to now have viewed that segment, that little segment that we did from Understanding Life Ministries in Clayton, Delaware. Thank you so much, folks. God bless you. Have yourselves a wonderful, blessed day. We're going to be back here tomorrow, 7:30 a.m. to when we leave. We were supposed to have ended the show at, you know the time change, right? I told you, right? Liberia used to be 4 hours. What is the time right now? It's
6 minutes to 10.
6 minutes or 10. Okay, now it's 5 hours. It used to be 4 hours ahead. Now you are 5 hours ahead. Huh?
Wow.
Yeah, you're 5 hours ahead. We're in the daylight saving time. Okay, Boga. Take care, man.